You're watching Inside Automotive with Jim Fitzpatrick.
Everyone wants better leads, but what if the real opportunity already lies in your CRM? Today we are joined by Durran Cage, who's founder and owner of Cage Automotive, to share how you can maximize your existing leads and turn missed opportunities into sales. Welcome so much into the show. I appreciate it. Durran, taking the time with us here at CBT News.
Hey, Jim, thank you so much. Always great to be here. Thank you to your audience, your listeners, and to the entire team for sure.
Sure. So you say most CRMs don't need more leads, but more love. Explain what you mean by that.
Yes, right. So when we think about love, what is love? You know, and typically one of the ways that I equate love is time. Mm-hmm. Like time is a big part of love, like you're investing in it. And so when we bring that into the CRM, a lot of dealerships are having to invest more love, more time into that CRM to make it right. So just a quick example, Jim, would be like there's several stores, and maybe some listening to this right now, that are dealing with expenses, right, and manpower and AI and all this. And some of them are either dissolving a BDC or maybe just repositioning people. Mm-hmm. So I'm seeing stores move BDC into sales reps and put them in service and things like that.
Sure.
And then we get into this CRM with the sales reps, because now our sales team and our managers have now become who? They're now like the front line. They're the BDC team.
Yeah.
But if the sales staff has never really been trained to dial in on that CRM, and the sales managers as well on how to use that thing to make them more income and to create better experiences, that's where we're seeing an issue right now. That's because right. Dealers, we're making a change based on maybe money or movement or whatever, but we're not slowing down to make sure that main hub that we have to communicate to our customers is dialed in the right way.
That's right. That's right. Why is it that it's still a challenge to get salespeople and managers, for that matter, to use properly the CRM in the store?
Yeah, well, I would say, me personally speaking, if I'm a salesperson here, the problem that I would have with it is that you're trained most of the time when you're coming into an organization to give the best experience to whom? Typically the person that's right in front of you. Right. So we're talking about giving that great handshake and doing these great things.
Yeah.
Well, now when we're talking about the CRM, we're actually tapping into the unseen world. So now we have to invest in that skill set of how do we make a customer want to interact and engage with us? And that is something that a lot of times is not taught in dealerships. So it's not that most CRMs are just underutilized because a salesperson doesn't want to. I think it's more of just that investing time into their skill set so they understand, oh, okay, so really nothing has changed. The road to the sale is still pretty much the same. Mm-hmm. The difference is when the customer's not here, I might have to complete some of those steps in the CRM online. And when we get that in the heads of leaders down to salespeople, it clicks. They're like, I get it now. Now it's about, where is Jim in his process? Does he need to see the vehicle? Does he need to do finance?
Yeah.
Where is he at? And then you stage that in the CRM. Mm-hmm. So now once we have those stages in the CRM, when I'm a leader, they should come into that CRM and look at either their statuses or reporting and say, hey, who are all our online customers that did a trade yesterday? Who are all my online customers that did a digital retailing write-up yesterday? And that's going, again, back to what did we do before the internet came?
Right.
It's our Save a Deal meeting that we used to have on those long log sheets, if you can remember.
That's right.
We'd be checking those things off. But it's just shifting the mindset into tapping into the unseen, and then right after that, it's just you just have an automobile that's just moving smoothly.
That's right. Is the real problem that the managers do not use the CRM and demand the salespeople use the CRM? Is that part of the problem? What we allow, we teach. So if the salespeople are not using it at 100%, then we're actually allowing them and therefore teaching them that's okay.
Yeah, I mean that's what we do, most of us, right? It's kind of like when our kids get the technology before we do. What normally happens in a lot of households is, what do you have? Oh, okay, you're good with that phone. I'm going to stick with what I have.
Right.
What's very similar in dealerships, most sales managers and leaders, some of us never came up with a dialed-in CRM.
That's right.
Like most of us, when we were selling cars, every sales manager I've asked this question to, I laugh every time. I'll say, hey, if you had this kind of CRM available to you 10 years ago when you were selling cars, what would have happened? Everybody's like, oh my gosh.
Right.
I would have. Well, then I'm like, well, why aren't you dominating now and teaching your team how to use it that way?
That's right. That's
Boom!
right.
You know, that light bulb goes off. So you're right, Jim. I mean, it really does take the leaders at the front using it as part of their daily routine.
Yeah.
And the salespeople buy in. But if the leaders aren't bought in, of course, the sales team, it's very hard for them to believe as well.
That's right. Or if you let some on the team go without using it because they sell, 20 cars a month or 25 cars a month, and it's okay if they don't use the CRM. And then obviously every salesperson sees that and says, okay, I don't necessarily need to use it either. And then what's the cutoff? Is it 15 cars? Is it 25 cars? When is it okay not to, adhere to the rules in the dealership, right?
That's right. And if the person is selling 25, if they're selling 25, 30 cars without a CRM, there's two things from that. One, what are they doing that we can learn, that we can input? Now, if they're just brooming a bunch of ups, if that's even still a possibility for them to do that because of where they're at, then we know what needs to happen. But the other side of that I would normally say, especially when across the country, when I meet these people that are selling 20 to 30 units a month, and they're like, I don't even use this CRM. I'm like, would you like to double your sales without spending more time? And they're like, yes.
Right.
And then it just comes into, typically with a 25 or 30 car person, there's normally just like one thing or two things about the CRM they just don't understand or they don't like. Once you get them past that, they're all about it, because most people that are selling 20 to 30 units, just like a dealership, if a dealership is selling 300, 500 units a month, and they told us right now, we really don't use our CRM that much, that lets us know if they wanted to get much more, they could get way more without doing any more work, just by setting up the right, the right workflows and the right process that works for them.
Or spending any more money on marketing to get those additional sales, right? They're there already.
Yeah.
The leads.
And keep going. Go ahead. My bad.
No, I was just going to say, how important is cross-department buy-in when it comes to CRM effectiveness?
I mean, this is a whole nother show, but I'll give you, because I was thinking about this before we got on. I wanted to make sure I talked about this, because I'm spending a lot of time on closing percentage myth, because that's been something I feel that's hurt our industry more than helped. When we talk about, now I'm talking about on the internet side. I feel on the upside, very important to monitor that. And on the internet side, it's important to monitor that, but I would be cautious of pay plans, and I would be cautious of judging your success based on a conversion. And this is how it connects back to what you said, Jim, all departments. Because what can happen is we get on these performance calls, or an OEM report comes out and says that you guys got X amount of closing percentage. But what we might not know is that, let's say a dealership got 250 kind of third-party leads. I don't want to put a label on them, but they're opportunities that aren't even attached to a stock number. It's a new car, hand raiser, whatever.
Yeah.
Well, if the closing percentage on those 250 was somewhere between that 2 to 3%, okay?
Right.
But then on the other side of that, you've got a strong new marketing team that comes in and they're really like, hey, let's rebrand this store, let's get it going, and let's get some more first-party conversions. Well, now we see that your online internet leads, customer requests, went from 40 to 50. Maybe it went to 60. Your closing percentage on those 50 or 60 is 25 to 30%, because we know when those customers come from the website, so much better. Well, now that is very respectable, but since you know where I'm going with this, but now since there's those other 250, you brought your conversion down to 6, 7, 8% or whatever that math comes out.
Right.
And so now it looks like we're doing a poor job, and now your marketing team's like, what's going on? Why is the conversion? And that's where we have to, number one, dial into our CRM, understand that. But then also with the CRM, how it brings in the marketing team, even your fixed ops team, your F&I team, is we can look at it by those channels and see where our best engagement comes from, our highest visits come from these channels, to know where we should invest more of our time and our dollars, and where maybe we should have some more conversations.
Yeah, well, it makes perfect sense, and it really is one of those situations as to, what we, like I said earlier, what we allow, we teach, and this has got to come from the top down, that the CRM is used properly inside the dealership. It can't be one of those optional situations, right?
Yeah, and one of the best things too, Jim, to give the listeners something actionable. Like, what can we do now then?
Yeah.
Two things that have been wildly successful over the last 90 days is in the CRM. A lot of times when we communicate with words. I'm still seeing so many words. I mean, we're doing hundreds of mystery shops a week and we audit our own clients. And when we replace that with images and videos, because most people connected to me, they know I'm all about video, but there's another thing that's just as impactful, is when we send these either vehicle brochures, a digital brochure, something else that they can click and go into that makes their time, less in terms of everything that they have to do online. It's got the reviews. We know who those partners are. There's 3, 4, 5 of them.
Yep.
But when you combine pictures and images and an experience with that kind of brochure that gives them everything they need, along with what else is there left for us to talk about?
That's right.
And when people get those 1-2 hits with a pleasant phone call and follow-up, the data will speak for itself if you try that out. So I would encourage listeners within the CRM, you can automate some of this, but the more that you invest into the CRM with things that are trackable with buttons and these call to actions, the more that you get out of the CRM, because now you have real data that you can go off of.
That's right. And dealers, hold your CRM provider accountable and make sure that they're doing what they've got to do to teach and to instruct your team and your managers on the CRM. I mean, that's also something that we find out there, that, a CRM is sold and then poof, goes the team that trains, and it's so vitally important that that's ongoing inside the dealership, right?
You're right, because true story. This just happened last week. So we get in on a call and we're going through the CRM, and they actually, the rep tells me, yeah, I've been using this feature here and it helps me message that much. And I said, wait, where did that feature come from? He said, yeah, this CRM just turned it on. And I asked everybody else, I said, do y'all know about this?
Yeah.
Nobody else on the call knew about it. I didn't even know about it. So to your point, that's just as gold as if everybody after watching this just has an updated call with their CRM company to just say, hey, is there anything new that we need to know about that we could use to better sell more cars? And I bet you there's so many tools that they're already invested in.
I agree, no question. Durran Cage, founder and owner of Cage Automotive. Thank you so much for joining us here on CBT News. It's always great catching up with you, and love to do a follow-up with you because I got about 6 more questions here about CRM that time doesn't allow me to ask. So thanks so much. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Jim. I appreciate it anytime.
Thanks.
Thanks for watching Inside Automotive with Jim Fitzpatrick.